Morning everybody, thanks for tuning in, coming along for the ride. This time last week it was terrible. We had another east coast low bearing down on us. It dumped between 100 and 200 mil of rain in the area, depending on where you are. It's south coast of New South Wales, all the way down to the Victorian border. It was good to extinguish a few bushfires, but it's also dumped a lot of fresh water in the systems. This particular system, the Maria River, is fed from the mountain ranges up behind me there. I'm not sure if you can see them, and a lot of fresh water has come into this system. So where I am at the moment is what's known as the airport flats, and the water doesn't look too bad here. It's definitely not as murky as it is down in the town, where it's quite muddy, but it is clearing because of the amount of fresh water that was dumped. It runs down into the systems, and what you find is a lot of fish, saltwater fish, don't like the fresh water, and the fresh water will sit on top of the salt water, and often you have to, if you want to find the salt water species, you have to fish deep. But the water is actually, I can see the bottom here, it's probably 1.5 meters down, so it's reasonably clear up here. This end of the river gets flushed with every tide change, so we've got an incoming tide at the moment. We're still about an hour away from high tide, and it's quite high actually for here, so it's probably a good time to fish around here. You'll get some saltwater predators coming in. The ocean is literally only about 600-700 meters from me there, and you'll find that you will get fish coming in. So just after I launched, just a ways back down there, I'd only been on the water for about 5 minutes, and I saw a big bust up in front of me. Check this out. Got one finally. This will be a tailor, maybe a salmon, I reckon. Second camera's on. It's nowhere near ready to land yet. Getting close. I think it's a tailor by the looks of it. Maybe not. Look at this. They were busting up everywhere. And we have ourselves settled, buddy. We have ourselves pinned in the corner of the mouth. Quite a nice salmon there. Awesome. So we know the salmon are around. I was actually throwing a silver jig at them and they weren't taking a thing. Alright. So 5 minutes and we're into it. See you, buddy. So I wound up throwing a small squidgy prawn at it on, let's have a look, I think it's a 1/8 jig head, and ran that through it. Yeah, so that's what I threw at it, and he's really mucked that up, hasn't he? And that's what he took it. That's what he took. It was on 8-pound line. So unlike last time I was catching salmon in the river, that was on 4-pound line. This one, not so bad. As I said, 8-pound line. Pretty happy with that. If I find another bust up, I'll be laughing. It's quite a high tide. We're quite a few hours away from high tide at this point. Here we go again. Look at this, guys. A really nice brim. Very nice brim. Second camera is on. Right behind me here is a sandbar with the incoming tide, and I figured there would probably be some predatory type fish right on the edge of that. It goes from about that deep with the waves coming across it down to about 1.5 meters, and there was one very nice brim. We'll get your photo, buddy. And then we'll release you. What do you think? Hey? put him back in the water. He's deserves these fish. If you want to know what I got him on, it's 10-pound line, I think maybe 12, and a Crush City jig head. Just give him a bit of some water through his gills. There he goes, and he's off and running. So I'll take you back to where I thought might be a good area. It's just back a little way here, and I'll show you what you mean. Show you what I mean. I will actually, so you can see it better, I'll stand up and show you. So he's lying, he was lying in wait right on the edge of this drop off, and it's quite a long drop off. It's a couple hundred meters long, and it's a sandbar. So, I don't know if you can see it very well, but the yellow sandbar there, and then it's much deeper in this channel along the side here, and that's where I threw my lure. I literally threw it there, right on the edge of the sandbar, and just let it waft down to see if anything would take it. It was my second cast. And obviously he did, as did this flathead. It's only a little one, but it's still another predator lying in wait on this sandbar. He'd be high 20s, I would think. So with these guys, they're going to go nuts. Turn them upside down and then release them. If you turn them upside down, there's a really good chance that they'll stop wiggling around. Not always, but usually. So what's happening is that the water is flooding across this sandbar here. As I said, it's very, very shallow there, but the water's flooding across the sandbar, and the more predatory fish are sitting just on the drop from the sandbar. Now it's a 1/8, that's a 1/8 jig head that I'm using. Quite a large one, because I was not thinking I was going to catch a brim there, but that was another hit. So what I'm doing here anyway, not necessarily what you're best off doing, is bringing it over the edge and letting it drop down naturally, and if something hits it, they hit it, and if something doesn't, I bring it back. think they may have been little little toadies nibbling on that then, possibly. It kind of felt that way, or it was small brim maybe. And instead of pointing at the sandbar and pulling it across this way, I'm actually running it along the edge of it as much as I can, because it is keeping me in that strike zone just that bit longer, probably 2 or 3 times longer really than if I was just going straight onto the edge and straight out to me. I'm not complaining. 5 fish, 3 flathead, the salmon, the brim. I'm not complaining, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just about to go back to the boat ramp that I used to launch, because I wasn't able to launch where I wanted to. Thanks for coming along. I've got another weed fish, got a few of them today. See you next time.